And another paper we are seeing here, paper 3 in the general studies 2, also called as. In the paper 3 we can see the governance, constitution, polity, social justice and international relations. Now what is the constitution? The India wrote a constitution, a systematic arrangement of the things. We have the fundamental rights, directive principles, fundamental duties, what is central government, state government, everything. So how to work, what are the organs, legislature, executive, judiciary, how the organs of the government is there, how legislative works, executive, judiciary works, all are determined in the constitution that we need to study. And also polity, what kind of system we followed. Our country is federal country or unitary country, what is the relation between central government, state government. So many more things we study. Social justice, how you are giving justice for the public. And international relations, how the India, what is the foreign policy of India with other countries. So what kind of relation you are maintaining. When you say Russia, we have good relation. When we say China, no, it is enemy country because we had the war. So like that, so we are having what the many kind of understandings about the different countries in the world. So some countries are favorite nations, some countries are enemy nations are there. Indian constitution, here historical underpinnings. So during British time, there are many acts they brought. So what is the effect of their acts in Indian society, the evolution we can see, features, amendments, constitutional amendments, we see significant provisions and the basic structure. So what is the very important thing in the constitution that cannot be disturbed, so that the Indian political system will disturb. This developed by our Supreme Court, the basic structure in the 𝐂𝐢𝐯𝐬 Bharati case. So about that also particularly mentioned in the Indian constitution paper. The functions and responsibilities of the union and the states. So what are the responsibilities, what are the functions of the central government and state governments, and the issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure, devolution of powers, what kind of powers need to have by the center, by state and by even local level, the Panchayat Raj, and what are the challenges so for the central, state and the local governments. All those things we can discuss in the paper 3. In addition to this, in the paper 3, separation of powers. So this is given by a famous scientist Montesquieu. So legislature, executive, judiciary, these are your powers separated, these are your powers, these are your, like that powers are separated. And also between the organs and dispute redressal mechanism, how to, if any dispute comes, legislative, executive, then how to solve them. Comparison of the Indian constitutional scheme with that of other countries. Now many countries have constitutions, UK's constitution, maybe unwritten. So USA's constitution, Australia's constitution, Germany's, so in their government. You are comparing India's constitution with all other countries, how change, what is the, for example, central state government's relation. So how it is in the UK, how it is in USA, how it is in the Australia, in Germany, like that you are comparing how fundamental rights is there in UK, USA and Germany, what is the DPSPs. So like that all constitutional features can be comparable with other countries. That also one of the important, so we are covered in the mains paper 3. And also parliament and state legislature. So parliament, what is there in the parliament? So Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, president, we are knowing about the houses. And state legislature, we have state assembly in every state, right? Yes. So their structure, their functioning, their conduct of business, how if you are observing the assembly meetings and all, you observe the ruling party at one side and opposition one side. Opposition is criticizing, ruling party is taking decisions. So you observe all kind of situations. So how they conduct the business and what powers they have, privileges they have, and also issues arising out of them. The structure of the government, organization, functioning of the executive and the judiciary, how judiciary works. What is the ministries and departments of the government, and pressure groups. What are the pressure groups? Whatever the NGOs, some NGOs are there, and some civil society organizations. You know, India against corruption, Anna Hazare, he want to remove the corruption. Jan Lokpal bill he fought for. Corruption should not be there in the country. And also, you know, the many movements for RTI Act, Majudar Kisan Shakti Sangatam, MKSS. So any group which is trying to bring changes in the society, bringing new laws, so pressurizing the government to bring that is called pressure groups. So formal, informal associations, any associations, societies, and their role in the polity. And also we are seeing salient features of the Representation of People's Act 1951. That means how the elections will be conducted and how we have to represent the people. There are many rules and regulations that conduct about the elections. Appointment of various constitutional posts, powers, functions, responsibilities. There are many constitutional posts, constitutional bodies are there. So you know that even conducting this UPSC also constitutional body, Election Commission constitutional body, CAG, Comptroller Auditor General of India, the constitutional body. Like that there are many national commissions for National Commission of you can say scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and other backward classes recently also became the constitutional body. So all those bodies can be discussed here. Here the statutory bodies, regulatory and various quasi-judicial bodies. Statutory bodies means what? If Parliament is creating, Parliament come up with a law and create some body, that is called statutory body. National Human Rights Commission, that is formed through a act in the Parliament. So the body, any body created through a law of the Parliament, that becomes statutory bodies. So regulatory bodies and some, the government also, the ministries, ministers, executives, group of executives also coming up with some bodies through executive resolution like Niti Aayog. So like that the bodies can be created. And government policies, the many policies, industrial policy, agriculture policy, so all the policies and their interventions and also development of various sectors and issues, their design and implementation, all those things we can observe here. The development processes, how the development process happened, the development industry, here the role of NGOs, non-government organizations, self-help groups, the villages, it is very famous self-help groups with the Dwakra groups and all, they'll get some bank loan and they help together and they have the small scale, the industries, micro industries, so some sewing missions and also there, in Corona time also you have seen they prepared the masks, sanitizers, etc. So like that small scale, entrepreneurs you can observe, for them the government is helping various groups and associations and donors, charities, so institutional and stakeholders, all those things can be covered in this paper 3 of this examination. In addition to that, in this paper you can see welfare schemes. There are many welfare schemes the government of India came up with time to time about the removing the poverty or about the improving the standards, and also for the women, for the vulnerable people who are destitute people. So for all those benefit of them, housing schemes, many schemes we brought, and pension schemes. So like that there are many schemes of the government. For the farmers there are certain kind of schemes. For the development of the villages also, MG Narega, so employment guarantee schemes. So all those things you can observe, public distribution system and all. Issues relating to development and management of social sector and how to give importance for the health of the people, for the health of the people. So we are coming up with what you can say Aarogyasri, etc. like that, health, education, for education sector, for human resources. So for all those things we can observe. Issues relating to poverty and hunger, how you to reduce the poverty and hunger. Important aspects of governance. Governance means how the government coming near to the people. So that we can understand here how governance happen. The government is coming up with many programs, many schemes, but are they reaching to the people? That is actually, if effectively you are reaching, your governance is good. So that you can understand. Transparency, accountability. So whatever you are bringing the programs, are you following, are you open to the public or not, or you are hiding? If you are hiding means there may be possibility of corruption. So what we are doing for the transparency and how the Government is answerable to the people about their policies, programs, success and limitations, problems and potential of citizen charter. Citizen charter means what government want to, if you go to any office, you see in the blue color a board, how this office help you, may I help you, and we are going to give these services. The Me Seva, if you go, what certificates you will get, how many days you will get, everything will be written in citizen charter. And transparency, accountability and institutions and other measures, all these we will discuss in this particular paper. And also role of civil services in a democracy. If you become IAS officer, what is your role? IPS, what is your role? All 23 service, what are your roles in the service also we have to prepare. India and its neighborhood relations, that means international relations, how India, what kind of relation it is having with other nations also we can observe here. We see bilateral, one country to other, India versus Pakistan, for example, India versus USA. Bilateral means two countries. So our India with other country, what relations we are having. Regional, for example, SAARC, and also SAARC means South Asian Association of what regional cooperation. So our what India and Pakistan and here the Myanmar, so Indonesia, so our countries and Sri Lanka, what kind of relations we are having, the regionally. And also global groupings, G20, World Summits, so those you can see the many countries, BRICS, so like that, what agreements we come with the India and how it affects on Indian interests, all those things we can observe in many councils, many meetings, many summits. Effects of policies and politics of developed and developing countries on India's interests and Indian diaspora. So how the developing and developed countries impact on India about their relations. And important international institutions and agencies like UNO is there, and IMF, International Monetary Fund, United Nations organizations, all those things, how they, what is the structure, how they influence us. The one more paper here, paper 4, in the general studies. So here it is talking about technology, what kind of technology we are using, how economic development is happening in India. So how our country growing in our GDP, and biodiversity, so what is the flora and fauna, and what kind of environment and climate, the security of our nation, security issue you can see, and disaster management, all those things are come under this paper. And Indian economy and issues, so here what is our planning and what is our mobilization of resources, how we are exploiting the resources, and the growth and the development and also employment, how our India is growing towards what the developed nation. So still we are developing country, but still how to become developed nation. So we are having the plans. And inclusive growth, and how to include the primary sector, agriculture sector, industrial sector, service sector, how to integrate all of them, and how to integrate all sections of the society in economic development, the inclusive, all sections must involve in the, take part in the development of the country, and issues arising from it. And also government budgeting, how we are keeping budget and how we are utilizing it for the development of our nation. Here we can see the major cropping patterns in agriculture especially, so various parts of the country. So definitely there are different types of irrigation and also irrigation system, storage, so water storage is different, and transport and marketing of agriculture produce, and also issues relating to constraints, technology and all. So the farmers, the agriculture related various issues can be discussed here under major crops and cropping patterns. Here issues related to direct and indirect farm subsidies and minimum support price and public distribution system. You know that the government is giving subsidies. So minimum support price, that means the one bag cost, maybe rice bag cost, maybe 1500, government is proposing 300 rupees more. So that may be becoming what, 1800 rupees. So to support the farmer. So when sometimes you know that the farmers are losing what price very less for a bag, so the farmers will not be affected. They must get at least input cost and some profits. So, and also public PDS, the what people who are very in the poverty and below the poverty line, they can get the, with less amount only they can get the rice and the minimum needs, food and etc. So objectives, functioning, limitations and revamping, restructuring, and issues the buffer stock and food security, how to give food for our this generation, and if at all the drought comes, and how to sustain, how to maintain food security, and technology missions, economics of animal and rearing. So we are also giving importance for animal rearing and all. So the project to tiger, like that. So if any animals or plants are going to extinct, and they will be conserved. Now one more important topic you can observe: food processing and related industries. So food processing, how the primary sector, agriculture, primary product you are converting into consumable in the industries. So maybe tomatoes, how you are converting into ketchups in the KFC. So the ketchup is actually prepared from the sauce, tomatoes or etc. So how you are processing the primary tomatoes into the ketchups industry, in the industry. So like that, for example, I am telling, so whatever the juices you are consuming in the bottles and all, so that is the processed one from the primary industries. And India's scope and significance, location, so and the supply chain and management that you can see, and land reforms in India. It is one of the famous thing. The majority of the lands in fewer hands, the communist use, the movements you have observed. So land distribution, socialism, all the concepts you can observe. Effects of liberalization on the economy, because we opened our country's economy to the world in the globalization nation. What is the impact on India? So in the globalization era, changes in industrial policy, how we changed according to our policy, and how our growth happened in the industries. All those things we can observe in this paper. The infrastructure, so what is the energy, what is the ports, roads, airports, railways, so how it is affecting our economy, so how it benefiting our economy, and investment models, so how different kind of investments we are making in India. And also here science and technology. So you know that we are coming with Agnify, and also every time we are coming up with some new missiles and all the science and technology. So ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, is coming up with many developments, their applications and effects, the DRDO and all kind of the missiles and the space programs we can see. And achievements of Indians in science and technology, so and also indigenization of technology and development and new technology. Recently we have seen so the many developments in our the India's indigenous development in the technology. The awareness in the field of IT, information technology, space, computers, robotics. So robots, recently we have seen robo committed suicide, the famous one, you can say, the newspaper headline we have seen. So they are also under pressure. So nanotechnology and biotechnology and the issues relating to intellectual property rights. Intellectual property right means a individual, maybe Indian, he is coming up with a new product, new innovation, then you need to get rights and benefit of it. So that is property rights. And conservation, environmental pollution, and you should be away from pollution, how to reduce the pollution in the country, degradation, environmental impact assessment. So if you are coming up with some kind of industries that may be lead to pollution of more for the people, then those industries cannot be encouraged. So that affects our environment. So how we are coming up with the measures. So disaster control and also disaster management, how to manage the disaster, natural and also man-made. Natural means maybe tsunami, maybe you can say earthquakes, natural disaster, how to protect from that, cyclones and all. And man-made also, so some kind of chemical industry, the you can say the blast maybe happen, nuclear attacks, so like that. Explosion of nuclear, you can say the industry. So here linkages between development and spread of extremism. So whatever the extremism is there, how you will tackle the extremism. So all those things we can observe here. The security issues we can see. The role of external state and non-state actors in creating challenges to internal security. How the external state and non-state actors, how they are creating some challenges for our nation's security also. That means internal security we can have as part of syllabus. And challenges to internal security. So what are the challenges are there? So what are the communication networks, media, and social networking sites and internal security challenges. So we are recently seeing the what our own Indians within India or the other country people coming to India and affecting our what the sensitive information they are forwarding to the enemy nations and all. That is effect of our security. So that we can observe security challenges and their management. So how to manage the border linkage in the organized crime with the terrorism. So how to tackle the terrorism, Operation Sindoor you have seen. So how actually they affected us. And various security forces and agencies we have, not only the army and defense, and we are having many the combined police forces are there. So CRPF, CAPF and CASF, Industrial Security Force, and BSF, Border Security Force, like that many forces are there which are actually helping for our security. And the paper 5 you can see here, the general studies. In the paper 4 you can see ethics, integrity and aptitude. Ethics, integrity and aptitude, how ethical you are in the work. So, and also how you are honest in your work, integrity and aptitude, how you take the decisions. So all those things will be see here in this paper. And here your attitude, your approach to the issues, how you are approaching, how you are solving the problems relating to integrity, probity and also public life day to day, how you are solving the problems. So for example, 100 farmers committed suicide, and as a district collector, and what are the problems there, how to solve them, why farmers are committing suicide, you have to come up with the solution. A train accident happened, for example, and some people died. So then in the bogies were burnt or something due to short circuit or something. So how to restrict that, and what decisions you need to take when problem happened, rescue operation, how to do it, and what solutions you have to make at the place of the accident. So problem solving capabilities, and also here you have to utilize the case studies and approach. So is there any cases earlier and how we tackled and how best we can tackle in future. All those decisions you have to make that we can check in the paper 5. In addition to this, the following broad areas will be covered, and also ethics and human interface. Here essence and determinants and consequences of human actions, and dimensions of ethics, and ethics in private and public relationship, how you use your ethical knowledge. So here what is ethics for me may not be ethics for others, but a common ethics will be there, that you should not affect unnecessarily others. So you have to follow some values. So here the value lessons, value lessons from the lives and teachings of great leaders. There may be great leaders, Abdul Kalam, so what their lessons and also what the path they have shown to us. So we need to follow reformers and also administrators, the role of family, society and educational institutions, including values, how we develop good values in the education system. All those things will be help here. So those we need to know about it in this paper. Attitude. What is the attitude? The content, structure, functions and influence, and the relation with the thought and behavior, what kind of behavior we need, and also moral values and political attitude, and also social influence and persuasion. So that means how you behave with others and how to solve the problems by communicating, and what kind of attitude we need to have. All those things we can observe. And attitude and also foundational values for civil services: integrity, impartiality and non-partisanship. So sometimes if you are selected as IAS, but you are helping your best friend who are actually took the bribe or someone, or if somebody criminal you are supporting, that you should not do, because you should not do any kind of integrity, impartiality you have to maintain, and non-partisanship. You should not be biased in your duties, and like that empathy, you need to have empathy. That means feeling the pain of others. A poor man came and who is not getting pension, but he have the eligible for pension. So you have to understand he is waiting outside your collectorate, but you are seeing 1 or 2 times. Then what is your problem? So knowing about his problem and solving his problem, that is called empathy. So feeling the pain of other. So like that, tolerance and also compassion here towards the weaker sections. The weaker sections, whatever the benefits are there from the government, you must help them to reach the poor people and get benefit of the government's the services to the poor people, so that you will get satisfaction. All those things are there in this paper. And also one more interesting topic here, emotional intelligence. So sometimes within short period of time you have to take the decisions. Emotional intelligence concepts and their utilities and application of administration and governance. So at that point of time only sometimes you have to take the decisions. So based on the conditions you have to come to the conclusions. And contributions of moral thinkers and philosophers from India and the world. Is there any philosophers that helps you in the administration so that you can utilize? Here, public civil services values and ethics. How civil services need to follow some values and ethics. Also we can discuss here. So administration, how the administration need to be, in that what are the role of laws, rules, regulations, and also here ethical, moral values in governance. So all those things, and also international relations and also funding, corporate governance. So all the things in the administration, how they are helping the civil services, public services, and also ethics. So to benefit the ethics, to benefit the all sections of the society. Probity in governance. Here in this we see concept of public service, philosophical basis of governance and probity, information sharing and transparency in the government, right to information. So and also codes of ethics, codes of conduct, citizen charter. There are many things, how to stop the corruption. So all those things will be given in the syllabus, and also case studies on above issues. So if any certain thing happened in day-to-day life in the newspaper or something, so you need to know what is that case and how it has happened, how to solve them. So is there any relevant case studies happened that you can write in the exam. So these are in the paper. So the paper 6 and 7 are optional subjects, so which is having 2 papers in the optional. So apart from all general studies papers which we have seen, apart from those 5 papers, there are 6th and 7th papers are optional. You have to choose. There are many list of optionals are there. So in that you can choose any one optional which is having 2 papers. For example, I am choosing one optional here. Here for example, there are many list of optionals are there. Now I am seeking sociology, for example. Sociology, here they will give paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 250 marks, paper 2 250 marks, like that. So one optional at least out of total list of subjects, at least you have to choose one optional. So that is paper 6 and 7. So all are we having 250 marks. So the total, as we already discussed, 1750 marks this exam will be there. You can see all these are Assamese, Bengali. You can take even Telugu language also, one of the optional. So apart from qualifying paper, so one note you have to understand here, the Indian language is qualifying paper. There you have seen 300 marks. You need to get only minimum qualifying marks. But this is optional paper. This will be counted for your main examination. So that means 250 marks, 250 marks, 500 marks. So you can choose Telugu language also, one of your optional. See here, paper 1 for 250 marks and paper 2 for 250 marks. The questions papers for the examination will be of conventional. So essay type you have to write. The 3 hours duration will be there. Here you can see the CSAT topic useful for other examinations. And see in other examinations you can observe for the maths aptitude, here you can see there are many topics of maths related topics, and also reasoning, numbers, coding, decoding, clacks, so syllogisms, etc. So critical reasoning, these all are you can observe in not just only civil service examination. In CSAT we are telling in paper 2, but for all competitive examinations you can observe this reasoning and aptitude questions. And also here list of topics for SSC examination, and you are seeing LCM, HCF and ages, averages, percentages, time and work. So the geometry, there are many, so critical reasoning. So all these things are can be learned in this particular Civils Foundation course. Now the very important matter I am going to tell. Having explained Civil Services Foundation course, all the preliminary stage, mains stage and also interview stage. Now this Civils Foundation course not just helping only for IAS exam. As I told, all this history, geography, economy, all these papers, if you took this foundation course, if you develop this conceptual knowledge and basic understandings, for example, if you are going to appear for the National Defence Academy NDA exam, especially for school children, I am telling, the aim is very important. As per Dr. Abdul Kalam, our former president, dream, dream, dream. Dream gives ideas. The ideas keep you in that place. So if you dream of becoming an officer, let's say the army officer, through Combined Defence Service or NDA, or IAS officer from civil services, or in the states, the deputy collector, DSP, or the sub inspector or constable, or the DSC, JL, DL and all. For all the government examination, where is the key? Where is the heart? That is the Civils Foundation course.